Hey, 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 welcome back to Daily English Listening Podcast. I'm Michelle, and I am so happy you're here with us today.
And I'm Chris. Today we are talking about something that every single person on the planet has, hobbies and interests, and more importantly, how to talk about them in English the way natives actually do.
By the end of this conversation, you're going to have a much better handle on the real-life phrases we use for talking about hobbies and interests.
Exactly. So just get comfortable and listen in. It's all about picking up the pronunciation and context naturally while you go about your day.
And this topic is so personal, right? Because your hobbies say a lot about who you are.
They really do. Like, the first time I meet someone, I always ask what they do for fun. It tells you so much more about a person than their job does.
100%. And in English, there are so many ways to talk about what you enjoy doing, and they all sound a little different.
Right, because saying, I have a hobby, sounds so textbook. Nobody really says that.
Nobody. You'd say something like, I'm really into photography, or I love hiking on weekends.
Or even, I've been getting into cooking lately. That sounds so much more natural.
It does. And the phrase get into something is huge in casual English. It means you started doing something and you're enjoying it more and more.
Like, I got into running about 2 years ago and now I can't stop.
Perfect. And that's actually what happened to me with yoga. I just kind of tried it once, and then slowly I got into it, and now it's part of my routine.
See, that's so natural. You didn't plan it, it just happened.
Exactly. And I think that's how a lot of hobbies start, right? Someone invites you to try something, or you watch a video online and think, that looks interesting.
That's literally how I picked up guitar. My roommate had one sitting in the corner of our apartment for like a year, and one day I just picked it up and started messing around with it.
And now?
And now I know like 4 chords. I'm not exactly a rock star, but hey, it's fun.
That's what matters. And that phrase, pick up a hobby or a skill, it means you start learning it, often in an informal or casual way.
Yeah, not like taking a formal class necessarily. More like you just start doing it and learning as you go.
Right. I picked up some Spanish while I was traveling. She picked up knitting from her grandmother, that kind of thing.
Totally. Okay, Michelle, here's something I really want to ask the people listening right now.
Oh, yeah?
I want to know, what's a hobby that you picked up during the pandemic that you're still doing today? Because I feel like that was a huge moment for hobbies. Everyone suddenly had time and people tried the most random things.
Oh, that's such a good question. Drop it in the comments seriously. We want to know, what did you start doing during lockdown that you're still doing now? Baking, learning an instrument, a new language?
A new language, that's very on brand for this podcast.
Maybe that's how some of you found us. And honestly, whatever it is, tell us below. We always read the comments and we love hearing from you.
Okay, so back to hobbies. I want to talk about the difference between saying you're into something versus saying you're passionate about it.
Ooh, yes, that's an important distinction.
Because I'm into cooking and I'm passionate about cooking feel very different.
They do. Being passionate about something means it's not just something you enjoy, it drives you, it excites you deeply. It's a big part of who you are.
Like, I have a friend, Daniel. The guy is passionate about cycling. He wakes up at 5 in the morning on weekends to ride. He plans his vacations around bike routes.
Wow, yeah, that's not just a hobby anymore.
Right, that's a lifestyle.
And that's actually a great transition because there are hobbies you do to relax, and then there are hobbies that become something bigger.
100%. And I think a lot of people unwind with their hobbies. That's the whole point.
Unwind, yes. To unwind means to relax and release the stress of the day. It's what you do after work, after a long week.
Like, I unwind by watching documentaries, or she unwinds by painting.
I love that. For me personally, reading is how I unwind. There's something about just sitting down with a book that completely shuts off my brain from everything else.
I get that. Mine is cooking, honestly. When I'm in the kitchen, I forget about everything.
You lose track of time.
Exactly. I lose track of time completely. That's when you're so focused on something that you stop noticing how many minutes or hours have passed.
It's actually a sign that you really love what you're doing. Some people call it being in the zone.
Yeah, like you're totally absorbed, and it doesn't happen with things you're just doing out of obligation.
Right. That's the difference between a real hobby and something you're just doing because someone told you it was good for you.
Like when your doctor says, you should try meditation, and you do it for 3 days and quit.
Or the gym membership in January that's forgotten by February.
Every year, every single year for millions of people.
Now, Chris, I want to bring up a word that describes a lot of modern hobbies really well: niche.
Oh, niche. Yeah, some hobbies are very niche.
So, niche means something that is very specific, not mainstream, not something everyone does. It appeals to a small, particular group of people.
Like my coworker who collects vintage radio equipment, old radios from the 1940s and 50s. That is extremely niche.
Right. And there's no judgment in that word. It's just specific. You could say, my hobby is pretty niche. I restore antique typewriters.
And the person you're talking to might say, huh, I've never heard of that. But that's what makes it cool.
Totally. And the internet has made niche hobbies way more accessible because you can always find your community online.
That's such a good point. Like, no matter how specific your interest is, there's a Reddit community or a YouTube channel for it.
100%. Okay, I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people can relate to: when you dabble in things.
Ooh, dabble in. I do this constantly.
Same. To dabble in something means you try it or do it a little, but not seriously. You're not committed to it. You just explore it casually.
Like, I dabble in watercolor painting, meaning I do it sometimes, I enjoy it, but I'm not taking classes or trying to get really good.
Exactly. It's very low pressure, and I think there's something really healthy about that, actually.
For sure, not every hobby needs to be a serious pursuit. Some things are just for fun.
Which brings up commitment, because some hobbies require a lot of it and some don't.
Right. Like if you decide to train for a marathon, that requires serious commitment. You have to run almost every day, follow a plan, change your diet maybe.
Whereas if you dabble in photography on weekends, the commitment is pretty low.
And knowing which one you want before you start is actually really useful, because I've made the mistake of jumping into something super intense without being ready for the commitment.
What happened?
I signed up for a pottery class, like a real one, twice a week for 3 months, and I loved the first 2 sessions, and then I just ran out of energy for it.
That's so human, though.
It is, but I felt bad because I'd paid for the whole thing. Lesson learned.
The lesson being, maybe dabble in something before you make a big commitment to it.
Exactly. Try before you commit. That's solid life advice, actually, not just for hobbies.
We should put that on a t-shirt.
Honestly. Now, Michelle, there's one more thing I want to bring up because I think it's super relevant today. The idea of a side hustle.
Yes, a side hustle. This one is everywhere right now.
It started as kind of slang, but it's used by everyone now. A side hustle is something you do outside of your main job, usually to make some extra money.
And a lot of people's side hustles actually started as hobbies. Like, I started baking for fun, and now I sell custom cakes on weekends.
Or I was really into graphic design as a hobby, and now I do freelance work on the side.
Right, and the interesting thing is, the line between hobby and side hustle can get blurry sometimes.
It really can, because when money comes into it, the dynamic changes a little.
Some people love it. They get to do what they love and earn from it. Others say it takes the joy out of the hobby.
I've heard that. Like, once your hobby becomes work, it stops feeling like an escape.
Which is a real thing to think about before turning a pastime into a business.
Pastime. I love that word. It sounds so classic.
It does. A pastime is just an activity you enjoy doing in your free time. It's a very natural, slightly more formal word for hobby.
Like, reading has always been my favorite pastime, or fishing is a popular pastime in small towns.
It works really well in both casual and more formal conversations.
Yeah, it's one of those words that sounds smart without being weird or stiff.
And speaking of sounding natural, I think the biggest takeaway today is that talking about your hobbies in English isn't about using big, complicated vocabulary. It's about using the right phrases in the right way.
Like, I'm really into it hits different than I enjoy this activity very much.
Please, no one says that.
Hopefully not after today's episode.
All right, let's take a moment to go over some of the expressions and vocabulary we use today, because these are genuinely useful.
We talked about get into, which means to start enjoying something more and more over time. I got into hiking last summer, and I've been going every weekend since.
Then pick up, to start learning or doing something informally. He picked up Spanish by watching TV shows. Very natural, very common.
Passionate about. This is deeper than just liking something. She's passionate about marine biology, means it's a core part of who she is, not just a casual interest.
Unwind, to relax and let go of stress, usually through something enjoyable. I unwind by going for a walk in the evening.
Lose track of time. When you're so absorbed in something that time passes without you noticing. I was reading and completely lost track of time.
Niche, specific, not mainstream, appealing to a small, particular group. His taste in music is pretty niche. He only listens to 70s jazz fusion.
Dabble in. To try something casually without serious commitment. I've been dabbling in watercolor lately. Nothing serious.
Commitment, the effort and dedication something requires from you. Training for a triathlon takes a huge commitment.
Side hustle. Something you do outside of your main job, often to make some extra money. Her side hustle is selling handmade jewelry online.
And pastime, a classic word for an enjoyable activity you do in your free time. Gardening has been his favorite pastime for years.
Use these, seriously. Next time someone asks what you do for fun, try using one of these phrases and notice how much more natural you sound.
And hey, speaking of talking about yourself naturally in English, if today got you thinking about how we talk about our daily lives, our routines, our personalities, you're going to love our episode on talking about your job and workspace.
Yeah, because just like your hobbies show who you are as a person, how you describe your job and where you work says a lot too. And a lot of the same natural language patterns come up.
It's a great episode to pair with this one. Go check it out right after this.
All right, that's all for today, everyone. Thanks for listening.
We'll see you in the next one. Take care and keep practicing.
See you soon.